Hi, I'm Brittany Overmiller, and this is my Internet Use Violation Threats Over the World Wide Web case study. What I know about the case study: Roosevelt High School is a large city where the families are wealthy. Dr. Stephen Forbes is the principal at the school about 9 years. He's respected by parents and community. Mr. Forbes hired a new teacher named Miss Walker. She wants to create a structured classroom. She has created high levels of stress in the classroom, and parents complain about Miss Walker's extremely high expectations and workload with little instruction given. Mr. Forbes has given Miss Walker different ways to make her classroom less stressful. I know Miss Walker left town for the weekend to visit her family, and when arriving back she received an unidentified email. The email had suggestive comments about her disappearing, quote unquote, and about her rigorous classroom involving curse words on the webpage. She called Mr. Forbes explaining how she felt threatened. Mr. Forbes was given access to the email by Miss Walker, where he made copies of it for evidence. Miss Walker didn't feel safe in her home that night, so she stayed with her parents. I need to know if Miss Walker has tried to improve her classroom environment to make it less stressful, if there has been administrative support in her classroom and her teaching techniques. I need to know if Miss Walker's safety is in danger. I need to know who emailed Miss Walker. I need to know how many were involved. Were they students? Were they parents or others? I need to know what steps can be taken legally to solve this problem. Can we email or track or trace the email where it came from? What is the problem? The problem is students are feeling stressed. Parents and students have complained. Miss Walker has not changed her teaching to improve the problem. The problem is someone sent Miss Walker an email where she feels threatened for her safety. We don't know who sent the email. We don't know how many are involved. We don't know if the email can be traced or tracked. Action plan. I would talk to the vice principal at the situation with the documents printed. I would talk to Miss Walker and ask her who she thinks may be part of the situation. We would then find out what legal actions we can take. Can we contact parents to discuss the situation with their children in the office? Could we have IT trace the email back to who it came from? Once we have found out who participated in this, they will have consequences where they will apologize and apologize to Miss Walker, and then speak to the counselor about their behavior. They need to know what they did was a form of cyberbullying and not appropriate. Because of the situation, it's important to have an assembly on the topic for the entire school of bullying, discuss the consequences for this kind of bullying, discuss the different forms of bullying, and how this affects others around them. The resolution: we need to create less stress for the students, teacher, and families by aiding Miss Walker in her instruction and teaching, have more informal observations on Miss Walker's instruction, create an environment that is not as rigorous where students feel like their work can be realistically accomplished. We need to educate students on consequences of their actions, such as cyberbullying, show them how to respect others, and how to express their feelings in a constructive manner, and voice their opinion. Debriefing the problem: what I was thinking. I was thinking, how do I make students and parents feel less stressed? I was thinking, how do I make improvements in Miss Walker's classroom? Does she feel like the information for improvement is helpful? Is she asking others for help? Does she feel comfortable asking others for help? How do I create an environment where those who are involved in the webpage feel comfortable to express their feelings in a more proactive manner? Debriefing the problem continued: what I was feeling. I was feeling as though I didn't do enough to prevent the situation from occurring. I was feeling I could have done more to help Miss Walker become more effective in the classroom before this. I was feeling worried for Miss Walker's safety after the situation happened. I was feeling worried how parents would react if their child was falsely accused during the incident, or offended that I would want to ask them questions at all. Debriefing the problem continued: what I was valuing. I was valuing students wanting to do well academically in school. I was valuing parents and students expressing their feelings about Miss Walker previously before the situation even happened. I was valuing Miss Walker wanting to challenge her students in a structured classroom. And I was valuing Miss Walker contacting me with the information before taking it upon herself to try to resolve the issue by alone. Debriefing the problem continued: What is still unresolved? Will Miss Walker change her classroom and teaching for the better of the students? Will she make her classroom less stressful? Why was there no follow-up in the classroom for improvement? How do we give students the tools to feel comfortable enough to tell someone how they feel in a more productive manner? Sense of integrity and ethical behavior. I showed a sense of integrity and ethical behavior when I discussed the situation with the vice principal before taking any actions. I showed a sense of integrity and ethical behavior when I contacted parents before talking to their children about the matter at all in the office. I showed a sense of integrity and ethical behavior when I collected information to discuss before accusing or blaming others for this incident. Treat people fairly, equitably, and with dignity and respect. I did not accuse anyone of the incident when it occurred. I asked questions to gather information. Teaching students how to express their feelings in a better way. You need to give them the tools to do so to have the opportunity. Trying to make Miss Walker's classroom a less stressful environment. There needs to be more walkthroughs for a more proactive support group that she needs to get her going in the right direction, and giving Miss Walker more tools to improve in her classroom to make it effective and to make her classroom a learning environment. Demonstrate a personal and professional code of ethics. I listened to parent complaints and informed Miss Walker of the concerns they had. I gave Miss Walker alternate ways to improve her classroom. It was up to her to try to use them to make it better. I didn't assume or accuse anyone of the email incident when it happened. I wanted to ask questions and give the opportunity for someone to tell me maybe who was involved before accusing those that we maybe thought were a part of it. I gave information to students through an assembly on cyberbullying and what it means. It's important to talk to the entire school. I know word gets around fast, so other students probably heard what was happening, and they need to know that what happened was not okay. They need to talk in a manner that is appropriate to fix situations instead of going through media and making it very negative. Not only does it look bad on them for doing that, but it makes it look bad on the teacher for what they're saying about them, and people don't always ask questions before they just assume. And this will help with the prevention from this ever occurring again in the school, and hopefully give students the tools to talk about their issues on what they have instead of just taking it into their hands and making a negative impact on what they're doing.